You've probably heard the headlines. CapCut can use your face and voice forever. You give up your rights by uploading a draft, and everyone started panicking, deleting the app, and looking for the next best video editor. But what if the outrage wasn't entirely accurate? Let's talk about what really changed in CapCut's terms of service and why this is a moment to pause, not panic. Welcome to Marketing Trends Now. I'm Katie Brinkley, a social media strategist who's been in the game for over 2 decades. And I'm a business owner just like you. If you want to stay ahead of the algorithm without burning out, I've got you. I know you got a business to run, so I'm going to keep it short, smart, and worth your time. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Hey friend, welcome back to Marketing Trends Now. I'm Katie Brinkley, and today I want to talk about one of the most dramatic content creator freakouts we've seen in a while, the CapCut terms of service chaos. Unless you've been off of social media entirely, you've probably seen creators sounding the alarm. CapCut can use your face in ads without telling you. You give up rights to use your voice, even in unpublished clips. They can monetize your content and you won't see a dime. And look, I get it, but these are real concerns. But before we all go and delete the app and jump ship, I do want to offer a different perspective. Because in a rush to react, what got lost was the full picture and the actual language from CapCut itself. So let's walk through what was claimed, what's actually true, and what you need to consider if you're using editing tools as part of your marketing stack. So let's start with what blew up. Creators online were quoting language from CapCut's terms of service that basically said, by using the give us worldwide royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license to use, reproduce, distribute, modify, adapt, public, perform, create derivative works from your content, including your face, voice, and likeness, even unpublished content. Whew, that was a mouthful, and honestly, it sounds terrifying, right? And suddenly the narrative was CapCut can take your face and your voice and use it in an ad, even if you upload a private draft and they don't have to pay you or even tell you. And it snowballed fast. If I were to read that and hear that, I would freak out too, right? And creators started advising each other to delete CapCut immediately. Some major blogs ran headlines about creative ownership being stripped away. And for a platform that has, honestly, it's been the go-to for free editing for creators and marketers, this was a really big deal. And this is what CapCut actually said. I didn't want to jump on the outrage bandwagon. So I sat back, I waited, and then I read the actual terms of service. And then I read CapCut's official clarification. And here is what they said verbatim. The section in our terms of service that people are discussing has not changed. Platforms regularly make minor changes to their terms of service. On June 12th, we added more information on the use of third-party services and clarified our definitions and rules around commercial use. These are in entirely different sections from the highlighted content. Okay, and you might say, what does that mean? Well, the part that everyone's freaking out about, that is not new. The license to use your content, it exists, yes, but it's also the same type of license you've agreed to if you've ever uploaded anything to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. The broad IP language, it's what is required to let them process and serve your content in the app. It's not to steal it and turn it into an ad without your consent. And this is a key line in CapCut's clarification. The IP agreement is solely to the extent necessary to provide the service to users. Translation, they're not claiming ownership of your content. They're saying they need a license while your content lives on their servers in order to provide the editing and sharing functions that you are using. Whew, all right, so what do you need to know? Now that the dust is starting to settle, I think this is what actually matters. Number one, terms like this are standard, but they are definitely still worth reading. Just because the license language sounds scary doesn't mean it's malicious. Every time you use a platform like Canva, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, you are agreeing to similar terms. They need those permissions to process your content to their servers. render your edits, and deliver previews and exports. What would be problematic is if they used your footage in a paid ad campaign without your permission. They sold your content to third parties without your knowledge, or they monetized your likeness beyond what's necessary for app functions. But CapCut has stated that's not what they're doing. Still, it is a smart move to read all terms of services before uploading client work or personal brand content to any platform, especially if it's unpublished or sensitive material. All right, number 2, drafts are not private. One thing all creators should pay attention to is if you upload a draft, even if you don't hit publish, you are still agreeing to the terms of service. So yes, CapCut could, in theory, process that content under their license rules. But again, this isn't new. TikTok does this. Instagram does this. Even Google Drive applies licenses to your content when stored in the cloud. It's less about CapCut being sneaky and more about the reality of using free cloud-based tools. If that's not something that you're comfortable with, your best option is to edit offline or pay for a tool with local storage and stricter privacy protections. Number 3, if you're doing client work, be extra cautious. If you're using CapCut to edit content for clients, especially high profile or commercial campaigns, I'd advise moving to a platform that offers clearer commercial terms. Yes, CapCut is powerful, but it is still a free product owned by ByteDance, who owns TikTok, and there's a risk when using free tools for paid client work. So consider switching to something like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, Descript for lighter edits with full rights control. Honestly, it's not about hitting the panic button. It's just about having control and clarity over your work. And your client shouldn't be surprised about a fine print license clause you didn't think to check. All right, number 4, be the calm voice, not the alarm bell. This is a role I want you to step into too. When news like this breaks, it is so tempting to hit the share and stroke the fire, but your audience, your clients, your peers, they need clarity, not chaos. So next time you read a headline like X platform owned your face forever or something, read the terms, wait for clarification, and then ask, what does this actually change about how I'm using this tool? Then and only then decide whether it's time to pivot your strategy. As we wrap up this episode, I'm not here to defend CapCut. Their legal language definitely could be clearer. They should do more to communicate changes. And yes, creators deserve platforms that are transparent and respectful to their IP. But I also think this was a classic case of the internet doing what the internet does best, spiraling out on a half-truth before the full story was available. So let's use this as a learning moment. Don't panic over scary headlines. Understand the tools that you're using. Read the fine print or follow people that do follow the fine print. And most importantly, keep creating, but create with your eyes open. Understand all of the terms of service. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and until then, keep your marketing smart, strategic, and always on trend.